Hi, ladies. Good morning. I am Alicia Curry Walker, and this is my private Facebook group, Soul Care. I'm so excited that we are here for a third day. I'm going to keep this going as long as I can keep the momentum and the energy going, and it helps when you guys are on with me. Let me know who's on, where you're from, how long you've been in the group. Just give me a little bit of information about you so that we can interact with each other. This is the third day that I've been doing this live. And for those of you who are just joining the group and or just joining the live, let me tell you a little bit about why I'm doing the live. So I'm doing this live because obviously everybody knows that we're in the coronavirus quarantine. And so the times that we're in are uncertain, and those uncertain times cause our brain to want things to be certain. And when we try to balance what really is going on with the reality of what we want to be going on, it can cause a lot of different emotions to come up. And so for those of you who don't know, I'm a licensed professional counselor, and I counsel and coach women specifically around certain issues, in particular anxiety, depression, and just giving yourself a better life and the life that you desire and deserve. And so I decided I wanted to do these lives to encourage you during this time and to help us try to maintain some sense of normalcy. So, like, all the teachers are online with the kids right now doing the work that they do with them. And I thought the best way that I could serve and support my community is jumping online with you guys as a counselor and a coach to help you through this process. Hey, Tiffany, thank you for joining. I know you're a couple of hours behind me, 1 hour behind me. I am in Atlanta, Georgia, and I don't know if you can tell, but I'm sitting outside, and I'm sitting outside on my back porch because it is such a beautiful day so far. I love the sun. The pollen is out, yes, but thank God I don't suffer from allergies like that. My family does, and so whenever they come outside, they have to wear, they have to take allergy meds, Benadryl, all that kind of stuff. But I don't know, maybe I'm immune to it because I grew up in South Florida, and so all the allergies I was gonna have, I had as a kid. So anyway, back to why we're here today. I'm excited that you guys are joining me every day. And if you can't join live and you're watching a replay, make a comment. I'll reply to your comments as I see them. I appreciate you joining me. I appreciate you being here. And I thank God for you. And I hope that you are getting something out of these lives, something that you can share. And if you know other people that need to be in the group, invite them to come in. Allow them to come in as well. There have been 2 days prior to today. The first day I talked about mental strength, and yesterday I talked about happiness. And with both of those, there was a PDF download that I inserted in the group later. So you can search through the group and find those as well. And again, I'm excited that we're here, and I want to get started because I don't want to keep you long, but I do want to provide some useful information. So I always start with a prayer, and I'm going to start with a prayer today. Thank you, Heavenly Father, for another day. Thank you for another opportunity to seek your face. Thank you for the birds that are chirping. Thank you for the sun that is out. Thank you for the lawnmowers that are lawning. Thank you for my neighbors that are out in their yards as well, Lord. I thank you, even in the midst of all of what's going on, you still decide to shine a light and to show us that there is a light at the end of the tunnel, and that you are the one that's at the end of the tunnel. And if we walk closer to you, that we will be in that light. Lord, I thank you for just the opportunity for today to talk to the women about what you've given me and what I want to share with them. And I appreciate all that you do, even in all of this that is going on. These and other blessings we ask in your son, Jesus' name. Amen. So, yes, I'm outside, and so the lighting is going to go up and down depending on the sun. But I'm also outside, which means you're going to hear all of what's going on in my neighborhood for whoever's outside. And so there are some kids outside playing, so you might hear some of that. You'll hear the birds chirping if I be quiet. And you can hear a lawnmower in the distance. And so obviously everybody's at home. And so when I was starting to come outside, my husband was like, "Are you ready to start your live?" I said, "Yeah." He said, "I need to cut the grass." I said, "Well, give me a little bit, and then you could cut the grass, once I'm done." But somebody else is cutting the grass, so you're going to hear them. At least he's not back here making so much noise. So today's live is a little bit different than the last two I've done. I specifically kind of stuck to one topic, but today I want to kind of like push three topics together. So the first one is fear. And in 2 Timothy 1:7, it says, God did not give us a spirit of fear, but of power, love, and a sound mind. That was just me watching a bumblebee pass by, that's all. I'm just watching to see where it's going. But even in that, God did not give me a spirit of fear, but of love, power, and a sound mind. And I want us to kind of think about that and resonate on that, to know that we don't have to be afraid of what's going on in this situation, but it is okay to be afraid. And so a lot of what I've done so far in these last couple of days is talk to you about how to overcome, but some of you might still be in the state of fear. And so that's okay. And I want you to know that it's okay. And I want you to know that it's okay to have those feelings, but I don't want you to sit there. I don't want you to stay there. So the first question I have for you guys today is, during this period of time, what are you afraid of? And I want you to write your answers down in the comment box, because if you weren't aware, this is a live where I'm going to be talking some, but I'm also going to be asking questions. And these are self-care journaling questions that you can either write in the comment box below, or you can write on the PDF download that I'll share, or sometimes people even like it where they can record themselves on audio or record themselves on video. And so those kinds of things help for you to kind of hear it, touch it, feel it, and get a hold of it for yourselves. So if you're watching live, please comment. If you're watching on the replay, share with me, what is it that you're afraid of at this moment? Some people are afraid that, this is going to be like a new normal, or some people are afraid that they may lose their jobs, or they already have. Some people are afraid that their livelihoods or their lives won't be the same, after all of this. Tiffany says, I'm actually not afraid right now. And that's great. I think that's a great place to be. And, you know, it is a great place to be when you can have peace that surpasses all understanding in the midst of chaos, in the midst of all the things that are swirling around. But that kind of peace and that kind of assurance doesn't come from us as individuals. My belief is that it does come from God, and He is the one that provides the peace that can surpass all understanding. So I have my earbuds in, so I hope you don't get as much of the background noise as I'm hearing, but you might. Anyway, so what are some of the things that you might be afraid of right now? If it is, and that might not be something that you want to put in the comment box, but it is something that you can write about later. When was there a time where you should have been afraid, or people thought should have been afraid, and you weren't? So when was a time that people thought you should have been afraid, but you weren't? Any takers? Well, there was a time for us, and I share it all the time because it's part of my story. When my daughter was in the bone marrow transplant process, people told us all the time that they thought that, how could you go through that? That was so much, and I don't know if I could have done that, but we weren't afraid. We didn't succumb to being afraid that something was going to happen to her, even though there was a possibility that she could have died in that process. But that's not what we were told, and that's not what we were believing. So when was there a time that people thought you should have been afraid but you weren't? Anybody? Okay. The second topic I want to talk about is resilience. And resilience is the ability to withstand or recover from difficult times, from difficult conditions. So resilience is the ability to withstand or recover from difficult times or difficult conditions. So in this time, we're all going to have a sense of resilience. So my question is, when was there a time where you could honestly say that you were resilient? Yeah, definitely, Tiffany. Now is definitely one of those times where you have to be resilient. You could get lost in um, what's going on if you don't take care of the opportunity to be resilient. So, resilience is the ability to withstand or recover from difficult conditions. What does that recovery look like for you? How are you going to recover? Um, Tiffany says, yes, resilience is super important along with open mindedness to pivot. I'm so glad you said that, Tiffany. We're going to take that open mindedness to pivot in our next step. But definitely, when was a time when you were resilient? And it might be now. And you've never really had to think about being resilient before, but definitely now is the time. And as a people in particular, people of color are a resilient people because we've had to overcome so many things to just live a normal life, to just live a life that other people take for granted. So, when was a time that you had to be resilient? What did it look like? And how can you use those same skills now? A big part of counseling and coaching is teaching you, helping you see the trends in your own life to see that you have a lot of what you need within you. And that if you look at the trends that you've already set for yourself or the behaviors that you've already done, that you could employ them or use them in your current situation. So Tiffany says, I was super resilient as a child. My parents argued a lot, and being resilient was the way I coped. That's super deep. Like, people don't get that everything that you've been through up until now is never wasted. Never wasted. A skill or idea or a fantasy or a desire or a dream that you had, even at like the age of 5, is never wasted. It is something that was implanted in you before you were born. Um, God talks about knowing the plans that He has for you, even before you were born. And so being able to unpack that or to connect with that is so important. None of that is ever lost. My church at this moment is going through a Bible study, and we're being creative just like everybody else to continue that Bible study church wide, and it's called Made for More. The book is called Made for More. The information, I can't remember all the different books that go along with it, but the basic premise is that we're all made for more beyond just being disciples of Christ, but we're also made for more in our own secondary or personal calling. And so everything that we've been through in our lives makes up who we are, and we are to use that to help support other people, to bring other people and show them who they are and bring them to Christ through discipleship. So nothing we've ever done is ever wasted. Tiffany says, yep, never wasted. Though the time was stressful and not something I wanted, it has helped me so much. And oftentimes people that have been through like serious situations or situations that have made them stronger allows them, gives them more of that resilience muscle that other people really don't have. And so if you're watching on the replay, please, comment, please interact, and make sure that you download the PDF for today and go back and watch the other ones if you haven't. For those of you who are just joining and I don't know you and you don't know me, my name is Alicia Curry Walker, and I created this group Soul Care, and it's specifically for women where we can learn new ways to take care of ourselves, not just the, everyday, ones that people always talking about, getting a massage or pedicure, not those things, because those are surface. I want to share with you different ways that you can take care of yourself that actually feeds your soul. And so a part of me doing this series during this time is to help you feed your soul so that when this time of coronavirus is over, we are the better for it. We are more resilient. Our mental strength is on point. Our mental health and wellness is beyond belief. And people are going to ask, how did you come through that? Because you worked on it, you dealt with it, and you confronted it. You didn't hide behind it. And if you were afraid, you knew where it was coming from. And so I'm just going to quickly share what fear does to your body. So if you are afraid in this moment, if you are feeling depressed, or if you are anxious, or having any other like exasperated mental or emotional issues going on right now, fear can make those things worse. But fear, what it does is it shuts off this part of your brain, the prefrontal cortex. It shuts off your ability to make sound, good decisions. It puts us in the fight, flight, freeze mode. It puts us in the mode of survivorship. So many people are right now in survivor mode. And that's why you see all the things going off the shelves. You see the toilet paper run, whatever that means. But people are afraid, and so they're in survivor mode. And when people are in survival mode, you have to be careful because they're not thinking rationally, and then they can do things and say things that they don't mean. And so you don't want to put yourself in a position to come against someone who really is in that survivor mode. So if you're in the grocery store and you're trying to pick up an item and somebody confronts you about whatever, let it go. Because when people are in survivor mode, they don't think rationally and they act differently, and they will respond differently. And so I want you to be realizing and understanding that you don't have to stay in survivor mode. You don't have to stay in fight or fear. You have the ability to bring this back to the present, but you have to remind yourself of where you are in the moment. So I'll talk a lot about, and have talked a lot about being mindful, about being present, about being fully aware of where you are. And so an example for that for me is, as I'm talking to you, being present for me means, yes, I'm talking to all of you, but I can also hear the lawnmower going 2 houses down. I can hear the clanking of the hammock in my backyard. I can see the wind blowing. I don't hear the birds anymore, but I'm aware of everything that's going on around me. I have grounded myself in this moment. So although I realize I'm on this live with you, and the reason why I'm doing it is because we're in the midst of a national emergency. I'm not oblivious to that. But the reality of it is there's only so much that I can do about this national emergency. I'm doing my part by being in my home with my family, taking care of us. At the same time, I'm also using this opportunity as an opportunity to really get to know what's going on with me and where I said I wanted my life to be at this point. And so that brings me back to what Tiffany said earlier about, yes, resilience is super important, along with the open-mindedness to pivot. And so I'm so glad you said that, because that is my next point: reset. How are you going to use this time to reset? How are you going to use this time to reset? And what do I mean by reset? We all had a life plan. We all had thoughts about where we wanted our lives to be. We all had notions about where we would be, who we would be with, and what that looked like. How close to that does your life look? Like the reality of where you are now, how close to that does your life look? And sometimes what we thought about as far as what we want our lives to look like is rooted in what other people thought our lives should be. So does our life look like what we want it to be, or does it look like what somebody else wanted it to be? And if it doesn't, this is a great time to reset. So if you think about your life now, or if you think, let me phrase it this way. If you think about the life that you said you wanted on a scale of 1 to 10, that should really look like a 10, right? So overall, that should look like a 10. But does your life look like that 10? If it doesn't, on a scale of 1 to 10, what does it look like? 1 being lowest, 10 being the highest. This is just a quick check-in of how your life looks at this moment compared to what you say a 10 looks like. And if your number is anything less than, I would say, a 6 or a 7, this is a great opportunity for you to reset and to think about what it is that you could do, even in this moment, to make your life look more like that 10. Tiffany says, I'm using the time by being focused and continue to work on my life's purpose. This is only possible by tuning out the chaos the world is responding to and being quiet enough to hear from God. Amen, Tiffany. That is so true. So my question is, on a scale of 1 to 10, if your life that you imagined was a 10, how close that is your life now? 1 being the lowest, 10 being the highest. Adrian said 8. That is awesome. A lot of people can't say that. A lot of people don't have their lives aligned in the way that they want. And it doesn't have to be the overall sense of your life. It could be one area in your life. It could be just specifically relationships with a significant other. It could specifically be finances. It could specifically be your work environment. And so everybody's work environment has been turned upside down by this corona thing, right? So this gives you an opportunity to really rethink how you want your work environment to look and if there's anything that you can do about it. Tiffany says, I'm about halfway there. I still have work to do. And I think everybody has work to do. Nobody is at the point of a 10. And if you are, we all need your help in telling us what that is. So everybody has something that they need to do. But this is a wonderful opportunity to look at what you're afraid of, to figure out what that is, what you can do about it, to employ your own resilience, something that you've done before. You maybe have not thought about it, but those same skills you used before, you can use again. And then to use this opportunity to reset. And so how are you going to use this opportunity to reset? Adrian says, but my life was awesome before. My struggle is aligning with my home coworkers. Oh my God. Yes, these home coworkers are something. But it's a matter of putting some structure and boundaries in place, and also being graceful with yourself, giving yourself grace and your kids grace that they are not in regular school. Like regular school is from 8 to 4, 7 to 3, whatever it is. And so there is a regimented schedule, right? But if you try to keep up that regimented schedule in your own home, you're going to burn yourself out before this 4, 5, 8 weeks is up. Because you're not only responsible for what's going on in your home, you're also responsible for what you have to do at work. And so my goal is for everyone during this time is to preserve their mental health, to create a better sense of health and wellness in that regard, because your mental health and wellness does impact your immune system. And I know that I'm a nester. I love making my family feel at home and, comforted. And a big part of that for me is cooking and providing for them nutritionally in that way. And also, us connecting in other ways. But I also have to be mindful that the way that I do it when we have a shorter break, if I try to continue that pace for 8 weeks, I will burn myself out. I will be angry and resentful by the end of this. And that's not the end goal that I want for myself. I want us to be more connected. I want us to spend more quality time with each other. And I want to have a better sense of myself and my kids and my husband. And so giving ourselves grace, to know that today might have been, we were right on top of things. Everybody got everything accomplished. But tomorrow might be, we just hung out as a family. And when I jumped on my call, they didn't know that we were watching Frozen at the same time, or they didn't know that we were making cookies at the same time. Sometimes it is a matter of knowing in the moment and being present enough in the moment to feel and sense the shift that's needed and connect with that shift. Tiffany says this time is a great equalizer. It is. Everybody has the same 24 hours, and what we do with it matters. We've been in a mode of hustle. Like our nation has been in a mode of hustle for years now. And I honestly do believe that this is a time of reset for everybody. Those of us who need to hustle more will have to. Those of us who need to slow down a little bit more and rest and reset and be more present will have to. There is no choice at this point. But we're going to have to be more mindful of what we need individually so that we can actually give what we need to those around us, those people that we love. Adrian says that multitasking is a major challenge. Y'all see me just jump? That bee came right at me. Anyway, multitasking is hard, and it is hard to focus, especially for those people who are self-diagnosed ADD. Like I've diagnosed myself with adult ADD, and I might have a little bit of knowledge on how to do that. But anyway, multitasking is hard, and this is a great time too to kind of figure out what works best for you and how to help those around you help you to be the most successful. Adrian says, my job requires me to be very present during online conversations, working to adjust to give more time to my little person. Yeah, yeah. And you and your people are going to have to figure out what that looks like and how that works for you, even if it means on those breaks in between online conversations that that little person may know that this is a 15-minute break mommy has. And during this 15-minute break, I'm totally focused on you. I'm not on my phone. I'm not talking to somebody else. We are fully engaged in tea time and Play-Doh time and art and reading book, whatever that is, I'm fully present. So whatever time that you have in between or after, that you are fully present and that other things take a back seat so that everyone can feel engaged. And I'm very guilty of that too. I do believe that this time of reset allows you to help do things that you didn't do before. So I'm very guilty of, okay, maybe give me a minute or next time, whatever. But this is all we have right now is time. And so being very aware and present of the time that we have with our kids, if you have kids at home. So Adrian says, she can't tell time. I know she can't tell time. However, she is aware of the time that is spent. So when the time that is spent with her, whether it is in between a call or later, that she feels that you are fully present. And that's the point I'm making. Whether you have a 2-year-old, 3-year-old, 20-year-old, 25-year-old, they want fully present. Somebody that I know shared recently about a birthday that they had for their child, and they were concerned about it not being the big deal kind of birthday, maybe that they're used to giving because everybody's quarantined. And the child said that they were just glad to be able to spend time with family. That is really what kids want. Like they just want to be connected to you, no matter what that is, no matter what that looks like. They just want your full and undivided attention. Yes, they want to go play, they want to go do things, they want to get out, and they want to engage with other people, but they also want to know that when you are with them, that you're fully present and fully engaged with no phone, nobody else matters but them. And so this is a part of the reset for all of us, that if we have little people at home, that we're fully present with them while they're with us. If we have big people at home with us, we're fully engaged and present with them. So like last night, there's a DJ, don't ask me, DJ Bo Weezy, I think, was playing a live DJ set last night. It was just R&B stuff. But my husband and I just listened to it. Somebody said, you come to the house party, they text us. And we're like, what are you talking about? I said, park in the back so the police don't see. We're like, what is he talking about? So we finally clicked the link, and it was a DJ online, playing just different music. And it was like if you close your eyes, you felt like you were back in college at the house party. And so in that moment, that's what my husband and I both needed. We needed to feel like, even in the midst of all this craziness, we are still connected with each other, and that we need to be present fully with each other. We've been doing pretty good about being present with our kids, but we also have to take the time to be present with each other. And so we carved out some time last night just to be silly and listen to that and just have fun. There's some other things that have been going online, like John Legend was online the other day, And I'm not a big fan of John Legend because I think he sounds like a Billy Goat. Don't judge me. But anyway, um, but listening to his music, like he played a live concert. Erykah Badu was doing something. Debbie Allen did a live class yesterday. Um, so there's so many different things that people are doing to try to help each other. And so that brings me to the last point that I'm going to make for today is in your moment of reset, in your moment, he said, laugh out loud, John. Yeah, he's not one of my faves, but you know, a lot of people love him. I think he sings, you know, well. I'm just not one of the biggest fans. Anyway, so in your moment of reset, you know, I'm sorry I said Billy Goat. Now I'm distracted. But you know, he reminds me too of what's Jamal on, I want to say Power, that's not right. Empire, the one that got caught in his mess, saying he was beat up by the MAGA people. Anyway, they remind me of each other, and they both sound like Billy Goat. Anyway, let me move on. So anyway, what I'm saying is at this point is that I think this is a great time for us all to reset. And so in this reset, I think it's also a good idea to think about what it is that we can do to help and support other people. In my world, in my, you know, sphere of influence, in my circle, this is something that I can do. This is something that I'm doing to help my people reset. So what can you do in your circle and your sphere of influence to help other people reset? What are you doing to help other people reset? I can't talk. That's John Legend coming to get me because I talked about him. Yes, Justin Smollett. What did I say his name was? I think his name is Jamal on the show. Anyway, what are you doing to help others reset? And so one of the ways that we can remove ourselves from the fear, the chaos, the uncertainty that's swirling around us is by doing something that we are certain of, right? Doing something that we know how to do, doing something that we could do to help other people. And so a group that I'm in, one of the leaders of the group that came on and talked about all the things that they're doing to help with the stimulus package that they're calling it. And one of the things they're doing is helping with groceries. So like they're giving out grocery gift cards. They are, one thing I thought about people could do is like there's so many grocery delivery companies. If there's people that you know that need help in that regard, is ordering groceries and have them sent to them, or you providing some type of service or support, whether it's online in a group or something physical that you could have delivered to them. This is a great time to show um, just the human spirit, the human resilience. So, like over in, I believe, Italy and France, there have been where people are in these huge apartment towers and they're coming outside and people are playing music. And so, like, even though people cannot be physically next to each other, they're feeling the community. And so, what that DJ last night did was create a community for people to actually feel like you were at a party. Do you know how much power the brain has? The brain takes us to places that we are not actually in. And so, as much as you can filter in and I call it layering the scene or the scenario or the picture in your brain believes that you're there. And so music is a great way to help layer that. Sounds, smells, tastes, engaging the senses helps you create that layering effect. So that DJ did that last night. People were talking about mullet sandwiches and, you know, chicken wing plates and all that. And that just took you back to the time where you were in college or the time you were at maybe a club and listening to music. You could hear it, the music, but you could also smell it, taste it, because he was layering, and the conversation people were having in the comments helped layer that thing. So what could you do in this moment to show your human kindness, to show that you are resilient, and to help the next person reset? I'm challenging everybody in this group to not only reset for yourselves, but think about how you can help others reset at the same time. And so even if you didn't write your comment here, I would love for you to come back and share it with us, what you decided to do to not only reset your life, but to reset the lives of those that you touch and that you are a part of their sphere of influence. I am excited for all of us to see where we are when all of this is over. But I also want to make sure that I mention, because I've mentioned in the lives before, that I am running 3 groups next week, starting next week, and they will run for 4 weeks, one on Tuesday, one on Wednesday, one on Thursday. And all of them specifically will deal with people who are dealing with anxiety in this season of uncertainty. Each one will run for 4 weeks. The one on Tuesday is for parents. The one on Wednesday is for college age students, 18 to 22, and the one on Thursday is for high schoolers from 14 to 18. So if you know anybody that's interested, I will look for and drop the link in here. And I would love for those of you who are interested to join me. There's only room for about 10 to 12 people, and it is filling up. So I want you all to get involved if you are interested, or share it with someone who you know might be interested. The cost is only $100. I've greatly reduced the cost for the group. So it breaks down to $25 a week. That's less than a copay if you went to go see your therapist in person, or even your medical doctor in person. So I appreciate you joining me on this live. Remember, God did not give us a spirit of fear, and we're going to use this time to be resilient and to reset. I look forward to seeing you ladies tomorrow. Have a great day and enjoy the rest of your day. Get outside and get some of this fresh air, get some of the sun, and be in the moment. Love you, ladies. See you later.